I grew up my first like 12 years in Minnesota, right? So like, I don't think people realize
That's
like,
pretty Canadian.
Yeah, real Canadian. Like when you start seeing like black people, like okay then like that, you know what I mean? Like you know, everything was about preparing for the future in a different way, and now it's more like using the present. You know, like when you're driving, you look at the GPS, but you don't stare at it.
Right.
You can't stare at it,
Right.
otherwise you'll fucking crash.
Yeah.
You got to look where you're going and occasionally check to make sure you're on the right track.
Right.
I think I was doing too much staring at the damn GPS, just fucking crashing everywhere.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Now I'm just eyes on the road.
You're very deep.
Nice.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, man. Well, I guess let's start by. This is my buddy Joe, and we're just gonna smoke and talk. We're gonna smoke some cigars and then just talk a bit. So, when is the last time that you said, "Hey, let me introduce you to someone"? Like the last time where you made a connection with someone that you knew or you recently met, and you maybe thought of someone else where you instantly wanted to, maybe not instantly, but you wanted to connect two different people, because I feel like that's kind of becoming a lost art the more the years go on, and the more we get so consumed with what we got going on. We sometimes forget that we have people that we can rely on, but we also have people we can help other people get connected to. And so something I was thinking about, I was like, I haven't really introduced anyone. I haven't met someone and be like, oh man, you like this other friend I have. You know what I mean? So what do you think?
I don't think that I have. It's just surprising because I'm pretty damn social. My wife and I do that to each other all the time. We're not swingers,
Right.
but no, but we we'll go to like a party or something, and we kind of like, if we go to a social event, we like work the room a little bit like separately. Like we know each other. We already have fun with each other, and we'll be like, you got to meet this person. We'll bring him over. I can't think of a specific moment though right now, other than.
It's funny you say like when like you're at a party or something, right? Because it's so easy. I feel like when it's like when you're there, when there's like people involved, because they're physically there, like within our space, right? Yeah. So we can easily say, hey, this person has, it's your wife is the person that's closest to you. So that's, or like say at work, like if I have a server that's like, hey, I have questions about alcohol, who's a good person to ask. If they want, to ask someone that's, on the floor, ask one of the other servers. And I can say like, oh, like, ask this person, they're a bartender or whatever. And that's, easy. That's what we do for work. But yeah, it's like, how often do we do that in real life? And that's something that I've thought about recently, because part of what I want to do with this podcast is human connection. It's one of the first words I say in the intro video. And, how can you have that connection if, we don't have people, I would say, I don't know, people in mind, right? But I'm like an out of sight, out of mind person. So my goal kind of is more to get more of my own people, like more in my eyesight and in my like everyday routine. You know what I mean? Like I've always wanted, I always said that, I'm gonna reach out to friends and, have more dinner with people or have more, more FaceTime with the people you love and you enjoy, but it's always hard to actually do that. But I think that may be part of the key in being able to make those connections with people. But yeah, I think that's part of maybe getting back to that is, if something's on your mind often, then it'll come to mind when it needs to. That's why we study. You get the flashcards, you look at it, a bunch. So I don't know. I think that maybe that has something to do with it, because we're so used to our friends being far away. Yeah. Social media and stuff. It's like you're friends with someone, but you don't see that person.
Right.
So I think we missed opportunities for people, maybe for ourselves, because we just don't. I feel like I've done that. Like I've recently been looking more at social media just because I'm doing this.
Yeah. And
where it's not something I want to do all the time, it's kind of a part of it. But I'm noticing more where I'm like, wow, that person does that. Like I didn't know that person did that. Like I didn't know that person, or maybe someone's still doing something that I like that they did. So I'm having that balance with like, I've kind of rejected social media in favor of more like face-to-face connection, but then when life is busy and like you don't have that sometimes, then I think having that is a good substitute.
Yeah. You said you were out of sight, out of mind friend.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
I don't know. I think because I grew up, I think with a lot of my family members farther away from me.
Yeah.
I became more easily at distance with people. Not necessarily that like I would keep people at a distance, but like if you were around all the time, you know, like I would have friends like, you know, perfect example, like if there were 8 of us working, you know, a day together and then that night we went out, you know, I might text a few people, but like if I haven't seen you, maybe if you weren't at work for a few days, I might just forget. Like it's not like, you know, I don't, you know, like the person, or I'll just be like, oh man, I didn't forget, you know, I didn't think about the person, because I'm like, all right, like these people here, we're all going, you know, I'll text a few, the first like 3 names I see on my phone basically, and if you're more than like, you know, a scroll down, then I'll just, you know, maybe I just don't see or I don't remember or whatever.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel sometimes I have to, I love connecting with people, but sometimes I have to like force myself to go for a specific, you know, like we talk, you know, every few months. Sometimes we go some time without talking, but sometimes like, you know, I think the last time I think I texted you, it was just kind of like, that was partially why I think I sent you, we were talking about doing the open mic and I immediately sent it to you, because that was me going, okay, like this is a thing that I need to do. Maybe not like doing it like with you, but like a thing I need to reach out and have that connection with people. Because I was getting to a point where I think I was starting to be okay with being alone. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it kind of came from the out of sight, out of mind. So now it's like, okay, I want to put people on my peripheral so that I can think about them more often.
Yeah. I think I don't think you put it in good words. I feel like I'm a little bit the same way. I don't think I have the self-confidence to actually say, be like, oh, I'm out of sight, out of sight. But also though, I think that makes me think of like, as an adult man, like I tend to only like hang out with somebody, another guy, for like a purpose. Like there's dudes that have like lifelong buddies, like they grew up, they went to high school together, and like I do have a really good friend from high school. He lives in Indiana. I just talked to him I just saw him in person for the first time for like 20 years, like about a month ago. But like I have a friend when I was training, like doing like MMA defense training and stuff like that. Like I got to hang out with them, do that. But like as guys, like it doesn't happen that often. Like when the wife is like out of town for a night or two, excuse me, she was always like, do you want me to like set you up with either like hang out with somebody or like make plans for you? And I'm like, no, like I don't want to in the moment. But like if it's like, hey, let's go work out or let's go play a game or something like that, very seldom is it like, let's just go have a good time and hang out. Unfortunately. I wish it was more often. I feel like I do that very sparingly, like hardly ever at all. Yeah.
No, I feel you. I feel you. Because I think it's because we're always so busy, right? And we value time, but we value people, and we try to incorporate those people with the time that we have. You know what I mean? Like even tonight, you know, I wanted to specifically hang out. You know, I was like, let's hang out a bit.
Yeah.
I want to do this too, but you know, I don't want to just do this. I feel like that'd be weird. You just come over, we just shoot. You know, I could see maybe if I didn't know somebody, but even
I would have totally done it.
No, I know. But even then, even then, it's just still like, I don't know. It's just like, it's like, I don't know. Maybe then it's more like I feel like if it was like a business thing or something I did for a living, which hey, we can make it happen. Then yeah, but it wouldn't necessarily.
Talking, there's nobody there.
No, I know. I don't give a fuck. But it wouldn't necessarily like mean that like I would like love to just like, you know, like all right, like come in, like do the thing, you know, because like where do we connect? You know what I mean? Like it's
well, I feel like I'm a dog, like I'm purpose driven, like, and like unless there's a task involved, we don't hang out. But females do all the time. Like they make it a priority to socialize and hang out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think maybe a lot of times like guys will hang out when the girls are out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when the girls go out, it's like, oh, you know, like, oh, she's out, so maybe I'll go do something with the guys.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's not as often the other way around.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe, you know, what is the reason? Maybe the reason for that, I don't know. Like, So one of the things I heard Jordan Peterson say was he studies psychology, and he said that typically women are more interested in people and men are more interested in things.
Right.
That's why 70% of the YouTube audience are men.
That's incredibly sexist.
Yeah, I know. But maybe that's why. If that's the case,
No,
then,
women are better at relationships.
they're like, all right, let's go just be with people, and guys are like, I'm gonna work on the computer tonight.
Women are better at relationships. I know. I mean, I know there's introverted people and stuff, but it's I feel like even as an extrovert, like even you and I are both extroverts. Even as an extrovert, I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like I have to work to be sociably acceptable to be extroverted. You know what I mean? I can't just I feel like a woman is just like they go through so much different shit than guys do, hormones and just, different shit. And the amount of emotions that a woman can go through and then just be like, look at a friend and connect with them with like a guy. I'm like, if I get emotional, I'm like, I get fucking mad at everybody and I don't want anybody around me for a minute.
Right.
And then I'll let you know when I'm ready to let you know. Even though you didn't make me mad. It's just like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But women are just like, they'll let you know, like, fuck everything. And just, but they naturally do that. I feel like they naturally do it a lot easier and better.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, people have said like women forgive easier or forgive better or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just fucking stoned.
You're not married.
Oh God.
No, they do. They have to. But compared to men, we're pretty basic compared to women's. Women are complex, and yeah. We would live in a shack. We would live in a shack on an island with no comforts and no friends.
I'm considering getting something close to half this size.
Yeah. We'd have a blood sport. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Without women.
And that's one of the things is I was like, you know what? I like this apartment. And I was like, this would be a great time for me, if I really wanted to just strip everything down and just do the bare necessities of what I need, what better time to do it than now? This is the only time of my life that I've finally not focused a single ounce. You know what I'm saying? Something comes by, whatever, but it's like, I finally not, it's like I'm like in them damn racehorses, with the blinders on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to be right the fuck in front of me for me to even pay any attention.
Yeah.
But, I couldn't do that at a different stage of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't, I didn't think like that.
Yeah.
Everything was about everything was about preparing for the future in a different way. And now it's more like using the present.
Yeah.
I think I was always looking to the future too much. And now I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the future, but more as a map, but I'm really looking at where I am now.
Yeah.
When you're driving, you look at the GPS, but you don't stare at it.
Right.
You can't stare at it.
Right.
Otherwise you'll fucking crash.
Yeah.
You got to look where you're going and occasionally check to make sure you're on the right track.
Right.
I think I was doing too much staring at the damn GPS. Just fucking crashing everywhere.
Okay. Yeah.
Now I'm just eyes on the road.
Dude, I feel like that's where I want to be. I think that's the trick to learn, when you get married, or if you have a kid, it's because they're so great to have, but it's double or triple the response, mental. You have so much focus on what you can't give 50% at your career. You have to give 100%, and then when you come home, or your husband, you have to be 100% that, to make that change and be 100% dad as well. And then life, bills, other people's mistakes and shit, stuff.
Yeah.
It's a thing to learn. It's some days you suck at it and, whatever, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good question, actually, or not a good question. A good statement. Cause that was one thing I wanted to ask you. So you've been married before, have a kid, and you're married, remarried now. What do you think? What do you think about the concept of like reinventing yourself and not necessarily like changing, but like I feel like every time we go through like a major change in our lives, we have the like a segue of like kind of reshaping like who we are or who we want to be. Or like you look back and you go, okay, this is the person I was during that period of my life. What kind of person am I going to be in this next period of my life? What do you think your process is with like having to change kind of your entire life, but not like the physical stuff, right? Not like having to move or something like that, right? Like the up here, you know what I mean?
Are you so like when I
Nothing.
what's the question?
Yeah, so like nothing specific or like not like a specific time per se, but like how do you reinvent yourself going through a transition time? Something similar to like, you know, getting married or getting divorced or having a kid or whatever.
I don't know, man. I think personally I wait till I'm in the situation to reinvent myself. Like I kind of like don't fight what's happening. Or I guess it's foolish to have to be married to your own ideas when life is changing. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, you take your own personal beliefs and feelings and desires and shit into where you're going. So like having a kid, like you get excited. I mean, you've got 9 months to prepare for having a kid and stuff, but I think that you I mean, you kind of just you're like, well, what do I need to bring to the table? Something. I mean, incredible things in your life will kind of like bring out things in you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, I didn't like try to have a plan to like reinvent myself for getting like remarried. I definitely was like, you know, well, first off, when I decided to get remarried, I wasn't like, I want to get remarried or like I want to date or anything like that. I was just like, I am doing what I need to do as a single dad, and that's what's most important is my health, happiness, freedom. Not like freedom is like hanging out, like dating, like not that freedom, but like my personal freedom, like that I have in my life. Like I can go and do what I have to do. I need to take care of my kid, or like I want to go and have fun and I want to decorate my house. So I want to do. I want to live my learning to like love myself and give myself freedom, like that type of freedom. So, when it came to getting remarried, really when I met my wife, it was like I liked her because I liked being around her because I thought that I was already going through some rough stuff that brought out I like change. Like I've gotten used to change so much in my life, like because I always come out better. So it's like a must. It's like working out. You know what I mean? It hurts, but you know you're gonna be better. So it's like I like that type of stuff. But even where I was, you know, my head at that point, like meeting my wife, like she also pushed me to be a better. I was like, oh, okay. It was like I had a personal trainer. They're just like, come on, bitch, you can do one more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it wasn't like, it's not like in a degrading way. Right. If she's being an asshole, I'll be like, hey, fuck you. But which she does sometimes. It's cool. But no, she definitely, you know, it's like, you know, she knows what's inside of me. She's very, you know, encouraging and stuff like that. And she knows she's, you know, we're very honest with each other, and you know, there's no really secrets in the house when it comes to like how someone's feeling or something. So you know, she definitely brings stuff out of me. So it's never, anyway, that's a really, really long answer to your question, but having a plan without, I mean, I guess if you have a desire for something and you study it, like, you know more than anybody else. I mean, you were in the military. You've gone through a lot of life changes. Like, your plans are fucking hilarious when it comes to when shit happens.
Yeah.
That's funny that you have an idea of what
Right.
you want it to look like. Outside of like, hey, I have this desire to do something with my life. This is what I'm going to work on and pursue. But you, if that is the case, you kind of already know, like, I'm going to have upsets. I'm going to have up and downs. Like, I need to find something that's going to keep me motivated or whatever. Right. Is that what you were asking me? Did I
answer your question like on the nose, exactly. I think that, I think for me, I think I tried to make I've always tried to make too many big changes or just flat out changes at the wrong time. And I think something you said that was really key was like, waiting till you're in the moment, I think, to do that. Because I've done the thing where I've like tried to plan too much. I've done the thing where I've not planned at all. Yeah. And, neither one of them have really worked out. There's somewhere in that sweet spot of, having a set like pathway, but understanding when shit hits the fan. I mean, your plans might just be, poop on a stick.
Yeah. How do I say this? Let me try and say something without being an asshole. I'm confident, very confident in myself. Like, if I want to do something, I know that I can do it. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time, like, I get fucking excited. I'll get excited about something today, and then 3 days, it'd be like, I'm not going to do that with my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I guess, I think the older you get, you're fucking grateful for the shit you do have.
Yeah.
Especially like, you were in a way worse place 5, 10, 15 years ago. You know what I mean? And I sure as shit was like, and it's like, okay, well, so I'm just grateful for now. And if something comes, I don't know. I just kind of like navigate that. Like, what do you want to do as far as like changing? I don't know, man. I like your question. It makes me think a lot. Like your question, because it's like, what do I?
Here's a super hard gear shift. But you said grateful, and so one of the things I've been thinking about lately is I've been thinking about how I was raised, in religion and in the church, and I was thinking about worship,
right?
And there's something to be said, right? Like, regardless of what you believe, if you believe in God or not, there's something to be said about the environment and like a worship service, right? There's a response, there's something that happens, something, even if you don't agree with what's being said, like if you like the music, the energy, right.
Yeah, you get caught up.
And I had this moment where I was listening to something, I don't even think it had words to it. It wasn't even like a song that was like uplifting or a song that like got me through like it was just like some music that was playing.
Yeah.
But in this moment, I was thinking about how grateful I was for just like life, to be alive, how grateful I was that I was finally doing something other than the same shit every day. You know what I mean? Like, and just, just playing stuff in my head that I was just happy about, stuff I was grateful for. And we've always, we've known for years, people, psychologists and stuff have known for years, gratitude helps, if you're sad, you know what I mean? Like if you need to appreciate life, being grateful for things, there's power in that, like mentally, right? That does something in your brain.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about like what, like that. I don't know, like if there's studies done of like services and like how your brain reacts.
Right.
Like I want to dive into that.
Yeah.
Because they do all these other studies of like when you do this, your brain releases dopamine, and when you do this, serotonin, and this and that. And it's like, what happens when you're in like a worship service? Because I think there's something aside from any religious phenomenon of just like gratitude and being grateful for something other than like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't believe in it, because like you and I have both been in church and stuff, but like even if you go to like a work career thing where they're doing like a motivational, you've been to conferences and stuff, right? You've been to any kind of conference, like, like your first conference and going to something.
Yep.
You're even though you don't believe what everybody else believes, you can't because it's your first conference, but like you are still like your heart's full, your fucking brain is firing and all these things, and you're like this shit is amazing.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason that I like my job that I have now, because they do that. They have these conferences a few times a year or whatever, but Yeah, I bet there is plenty of studies out there because that's how those marketing people make their money. It's
Yeah, but
fucking-
yeah.
selling
Well,
people
but
to
my
come to
thing
their
is like, are there
conference.
studies like how many churches are letting scientists go? Let me hook up.
Well,
stuff
not
to your,
churches, but
But that's what I
like-
mean specifically.
Right,
That's some
specifically churches. Yeah.
because I only thought of that because
Yeah.
I was having these moments, and it's happened multiple times. Not just one time. It's been multiple times where like I'll realize it's happening,
Yeah.
and I'll kind of like, it'll happen, and I'll just be in this moment.
Yeah.
I think something happened like, and this song played, and like I think the beat dropped, and I just leaned back, and I was just like this, and I was like, that's it's the same thing, you do in the worship service. There's always that like moment where it was the same moment, but I was just fucking grateful, just happy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like that's something that I want to like practice. You know what I mean? Like just in my own space, just for whatever I got going on. You know what I mean? And something that I want to maybe even bring to other people is like if you like to paint, you know what I mean? Like paint and like appreciate. Not just like paint and like, okay, like I made this painting, it's great. Or maybe like, maybe you got like the feeling out. Cause we always, in art, we want to get our feelings out.
Or if you could have like a 2-minute conversation with a stranger and bring that same.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit,
No, exactly. Cause I've done that too, where like you have a conversation with someone that you don't know, that you find something that you learn from, or something that interests you, or they maybe something you had that interests them. And like, there's that moment where it's like you actually got something out of talking to someone. I think it's part of like, it's like we talk to so many people that we don't get anything out of it, and so we almost don't want to talk to people because it's empty. You know what I mean? Like if I were to give you a snack that wasn't to fill you up,
Yeah.
right? If I were to be like, hey, you're hungry, here's some popcorn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, I want, you eat it once and maybe like this does nothing. I don't want to eat this again.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't think we have like a society of like introverts, but there is this definite like kind of maybe wall of like strangers. Some places. Not every place.
Yeah.
Depends like maybe where you live. Maybe if you live more in the South, maybe it's different.
Yeah.
If you live more in like the suburbs,
For sure. Yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit different. If
people say that
from, like,
about
New
Ohio
York,
though, bro. I don't know if
that we're like rude. Or, like,
no,
don't talk to people, or that we're, like,
that
super
we
nice.
that like it's shocking. Like people from New York are like nobody when people say how are you doing, because I used to Ubered for like a year and a half, but like people from New York were like, it's weird because when people say how are you doing, like they really want to know like how are you doing, and they don't do that in New York. It's like might as well be like, hey, and yeah, it's I've heard that a lot about Ohio, where it's just like we're like the perfect like metro mix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we got a good middle ground here. That's why I'm still here. Like I have no family here, but I like it here because I think it's a good middle between like the crazy, big city stuff and then small town, whatever.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
It's like the middle of fucking everything. Like there's no there's no extreme in Ohio.
Yep.
Like the seasons feel extreme, but like other than that, there's no fucking like
what's
political, religious extreme. Like we're all just I feel like everybody is like, no matter who it is, we're all like, hey. And it's not like it's super liberal where it's just like you need to do it this way. That's what I like about. I do like that a lot because I have a shit. I don't. So I used to live in Indiana, and Indiana is different. But like I feel like here, your beliefs can be all across the board, but everybody's so comfortable with that, and we don't make it a thing. Like I don't know. I have so many relationships now with people who are completely different. If we were like, I don't know. I just feel like it used to be very, like 10, 15 years ago, it was very closed-minded about my beliefs and who I'd hang out with. People get into, I know that people get into arguments about that or whatever, like online and shit. Maybe it's just like our social media worlds. We think that's reality. Perception's reality. So we think that's reality. Unless you're hardcore on this issue, then you cannot see eye to eye. But like, I feel like in general, all of Central Ohio, Columbus, whatever, like you can be so different or radical or different than the person sitting next to you, and we still have that Midwestern ope. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Like, can I get, can I get you something? We're not Canadian, but you know what I'm saying? Exactly. It's
close.
I
don't think people in Ohio realize how close.
We're the Canada of America.
I grew up my first 12 years in Minnesota. Right? So I don't think people realize
that's pretty Canadian.
Real Canadian. Like when you start seeing black people, okay then, like that. you know what I mean? Whatever. But
for sure.
I think that I don't think people in Ohio don't realize we're pretty close to Canada.
That'd be great. People watching. I want to see that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I think weird combinations. I think are always weird and funny to see. Just things and people you wouldn't see very often. I don't know. I can't think of examples. So
no, I like that too. Yeah. People watching and shit.
Yeah.
Today's episode is brought to you by cheddar cheese. Everything's cheddar when you add better.
Everything's better when you add cheddar.
I knew
that's really funny though. One of my assistant kitchen manager, his nickname is Cheddar. Okay. That's what he goes by. Why? And I don't know. I have no idea. I don't remember. I think he says that he just everything's better cheesy, baby. I think that's what he's like.
He just likes cheddar cheese.
No, you probably. I don't know, dude.
That's funny.
You would like him though. I want to have him on here actually, because me and his conversations are really weird. Question.
Yeah.
Here's a. I like mental exercises of creativity, right? Just weird questions. People when you play the would you rather do this or this. I like the when you have to think outside the box about just something weird like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One I thought of was I watch a lot of vampire shit.
Yeah.
Right? Not a lot actually, but typically I'm watching at least one thing that maybe has vampires or werewolves or something. Werewolves. I don't know why I couldn't say that shit.
Yeah.
Something like that. And one of the shows was
Twilight.
I was watching. No, not fucking Twilight. I thought about this question because the guy was having a problem with losing his friends and starting over, and he's like, I just want to be done with it. And I was thinking, all right, if I became a vampire, what would I do? And I was like, that's a good question. I want to ask so if you became a vampire today, what would you do with the relationships you have now, right? Your kid, your wife, how would you try to make more people, make more of your loved ones so they can all, live with you? Or would you try to forget them immediately to make it maybe easier or, in the long run for you? You know what I mean? Or would you live life out with them? You know what I mean? How?
Oh, fuck.
You see what I'm saying? Do you just go, okay, I'm only gonna have vampire friends because I don't have to worry about them dying as much, right? Or do me and you, are we still, you know what I'm saying? Are we gonna be friends, or are you gonna be able to handle watching me get old?
That's hard.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because if you have a kid and you're like, hey, I want to, I will live out my life as a great human, and then I'll be the worst. Because if you would have asked me 20 years ago or 15 years ago,
right?
I'm 20 years old, I'd be like, I'm gonna be the worst thing ever.
Easy. Easy. I'm killing everything. I'm Jack the Ripper off rip. I'm seducing.
Doing everything. Seducing everything.
All of it.
Drinking all the wine.
All of it.
Killing people and then drinking their blood in their front of their friend.
Making cocktails out of that shit.
Yeah.
Making Bloody Marys.
And they'd be
Bloody Marys.
Making Bloody Marys. Yeah. And be do you want this?
Right. But now it's we're older, responsibilities, family, you start to build relationships. It's do you try to keep it, or do you just try to replicate it amongst other people that will have the same lifespan?
I would tell my family, I would tell Ariel and Parker, and I'd be like, babe, I love you. And I think, so Ariel and I would have a long discussion because I think that she would want me to turn her as well, because she's a weird thing with vampires. And I think I would probably wait until Parker was like 20. And then
before you told him, or before you brought it up to him as a choice?
Before I told him, because I mean, I'm like,
Right.
I won't change that much. I'll be the cool, I'm
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
age
yeah.
where it's just
Right.
10 years.
You can fake some grays,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
or
yeah.
just shave and then not have gray or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I could figure it out.
Yeah, figure something out.
And then I'd still feel bad like lying to him.
Yeah.
But I'd probably wait, and then I'd feel him out, see what kind of a person he was at that age.
That's a good point.
And be like, hey,
because because like who's to say that like his development would be better? You know what I mean? Like if he gets at like that early of an age, you know what I mean? So maybe you got to feel it out to make sure it's like they're emotionally and like mature enough to handle. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
By the way, have you seen Morbius?
I have. I loved Morbius.
I did too. I liked it a lot.
Fucking loved it, dude.
The
fighting. I thought the fighting in it was amazing. I liked the kind of the trails they would do. I thought that was different from like other vampire movies and shit.
Yeah.
And like the sonar and like the bats, that was dope.
Yeah.
And I like when vampire movies have like a slight transformation.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, right? Like you shouldn't look like a different being. But if it's just fangs, it's like,
yeah, but
that's cool and all.
They went a little heavy when they turned in that movie. Like, so you're telling me your mixed DNA can just change your facial structure like that?
I mean, like,
because their face turned into bats faces.
Yeah.
Especially
more, yeah.
the Doctor
Especially
Who guy.
at the end, yeah, too.
The Doctor Who guy more like they showed it more. He just like got mad and turned. But
I mean, like our face changes. You have.
Well, we don't grow bones and put them back.
Yeah, I don't think it's more like bones. I think it's more. I mean, okay, yeah, but like also like they're vampires, so. But like I look at it like okay, like there's animals in nature, that can change.
Not their bones.
Not their bones, yeah, but like they can. Like octopuses can fit through like those tight ass spaces, like they occupy a large space, but then if you want them to go through, a quarter size hole, they can somehow fucking do it.
Really loud. All right. Okay. If it was cartilage, yeah, I could see that.
I mean, your nose is mostly cartilage anyway, right? So like it's almost more like their skin is just like sucking back, maybe it's like like you're going on a hyperdrive.
We'll have to ask them.
We'll have to ask them how they did that.
Process was,
yeah. But I did like the overall the movie. Like I saw that the bad guy was going to be the bad guy, but I still liked how it happened.
Plus, he's an awesome actor.
I don't know what else I've seen him in.
Oh God, did you ever?
I've never seen Doctor Who.
You never seen Doctor Who? So his seasons of Doctor Who were probably one of the. He was like, well, there was another Doctor. I think the Doctor before him was great too. They're both great British actors, but
I know I would like Doctor Who
in the new,
I watched it.
He's in the new Game of Thrones spinoff.
You're right. I see that. So I'm currently watching Game of Thrones, and I'm only in season 2.
Well, I think Game of Thrones is way better than the new spinoff.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I saw it and I was just like, I don't know. It's because like you're only in season 2.
Yes,
what's
in the middle.
What's the last episode?
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't like binge watch it, so I'm actually trying to watch it like slowly, so that I don't like just binge watch it through. Plus, I just with every show that I have to watch, like I try to like spread it out a little bit.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
I think you should purposely make a day off and give yourself like 3 or 4 episodes to watch in a row.
I usually watch 2 at a time every week or 2. So I'm watching it as though I was watching it. It's
actually smart.
I'm watching it as though I was watching it like when it was on TV, basically. Because I watch it about the same pace. Like I don't watch it weekly, but when I watch it, I watch more than one episode. Usually 2 to 3.
Okay.
And it's probably once or twice a week.
Yeah.
No, not once or twice a week. Sorry, once every week or 2.
Yeah.
So, because I started it probably about like a month and a half ago. So like I'm right around where maybe a little bit faster, really, because the first season I did binge more than toward the end I kind of slowed down just because I was like it was at the same time I started doing this. I was actually staying up working on shit and I kind of had to plan. I had to pause it. I was like, all right, I don't want to miss nothing. But I was like so heavy into like editing the last video that I was like, I got to focus on this.
Okay.
But it's one of the shows that I'm kind of like flipping back and forth between.
That's cool, man. I wish I was that young. I wish it was my first time watching Game of Thrones.
It's crazy. I just never like. It was one of those things where I didn't see it when it first happened.
Yeah.
And then the further along it got, the more I couldn't watch it because it was like everyone like wanted you to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I get that
yeah.
way with stuff. Like if I don't watch it when it first happens,
I
and
do that
everyone's
too.
like, "You have to watch it," I'm just like, "No, I don't," and I just won't watch
Yeah.
it. And then eventually, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll like it.
Yeah.
But it's on like my own terms. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I do that. I think the only thing I didn't do that with was Stranger Things. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a watch. You know what I really, what's weird?
What do you think about season 4, Stranger Things? I haven't finished it. I might have to force myself, honestly.
I mean, I liked it.
I don't hate it, but I just don't
No.
love it comparatively.
No, it was great. It was great. It was great. I think I liked it. Really liked every season for different reasons. They all have like a different tone. You know what I mean?
Okay, that makes sense.
They still have like the same like. They're still very thorough and like, you know, it's I don't know, but it's like each season has a little bit of a different tone because like I think because like the show grew and like most shows do whatever, but like the tone changes, but it still has that like that same shit you crave, like that sci-fi, that like.
I think there's certain shows that they know will blow up, and I think there's certain shows that they think will blow up, and they kind of prepare like maybe, you know what I mean? It kind of seems like a show where it was like this might be a thing, but like maybe not, and if it doesn't, it's okay. And then it became a thing. I think it became a bigger thing than like what they anticipated. Because like that's a show where I remember everyone was watching it, and my roommate was watching. Jeff was watching it, and I would come home and I would look, and he'd be watching. I'm like, this looks, what the hell? And I kept asking him questions, and I watched like the second to last episode, damn near the whole thing before I even started watching the season because I was wanted to watch it that bad. It was so interesting, and I was like, I just got to go back and watch it, even though I already knew a lot about the ending.
Yeah,
because it was that good.
Yeah,
but I don't think that the later seasons have the same like.
Well, they're just different, but that was kind of like the first show like
Right.
that. You know what I mean? Like it was like
that's a good point.
You got that feel in the '80s, but you had to wait a week,
right?
You know, yeah. I mean, they write off of like what people liked and shit, and they did a good job. I mean, you know,
I think so for sure. I think so. I like I said, I remember watching that first season. I fell in love with it.
Yeah,
and even like all the ones after that, even season 4 is great. Like that fucking song got stuck in my head so much that I don't even remember. I can't remember it now, but don't get it stuck in my head. Because the last time I could remember it, someone started singing it, and then I was like, shit, there it is.
Yeah.
But I can't remember it. I'm just leave it at that.
You ever seen Prison Break?
I've never seen it.
It's a great show.
I don't know why I never. It was I don't think I watched mostly cartoons back then.
Yeah.
Like I still watch cartoons, but like I've always liked cartoons more.
Yeah.
Like even now, like I'll prefer like I watch Archer and
Yeah.
like, you know, like I was watching Futurama earlier, just kind of like fall asleep or whatever. But I typically prefer to watch cartoons.
I do. I literally though, I've never met a black person who doesn't like anime.
Yeah, I mean it's just I mean it's what we do.
Yeah.
Like so I have a cousin. Shout out to Damon, Cuzzo in Chicago. Like most of, you know, we keep in contact over the years. I don't talk to all my family, but we keep in contact, and a lot of it's like either music or anime. And it's like if we ever don't have anything to talk about, it's like, what are you watching? Why do you like it?
Yeah.
And like, where do I watch it?
I never knew that. I never got into anime until I was, God, man. I mean, well, I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, it was popular, and I started like getting to like be like, okay, I'm gonna try to watch anime. I was like 26 or something like that. So, but and then I, you know, got together with Ariel and Mary and all that kind of stuff, and she loves anime. And then like I don't know, that's one of the things. And then her brother loves anime and all this kind of stuff. And I met you before, but I don't know. I just started realizing like in my 30s, I was like,
you know what's crazy?
It's like, man, you know what? Black people love anime. Like, you know what I mean? I never knew.
It's me and my brother.
I thought it was like an emo thing, like back in the day. Yeah, like you had to be a weirdo to like anime. And
me and my brother, like we didn't grow up together. From a certain point, like I think when I was around 12 or 13, I moved in with my dad. Yeah. And so like, and he's 2 years younger than me, I think. And so, but yeah, so like we didn't like grow up together during our teenage years.
Yeah.
But we still have so much in common. And one of the things is like neither one of us ever stopped watching anime. And like we still, no, it's all good. Dude, this, I spill shit.
Sorry, I left.
I spill shit too, dude.
All right. So you didn't realize that he also likes anime?
No, I mean, I knew it, but it was like we talked about it every now and then, but like it was just one of the things where it wasn't like it was like an environmental thing. Like we both lived with our mom, and then I moved out with my dad, and then I think when he was 16, he moved with his dad, and they moved to Texas. I lived in Indiana and Ohio. He lived in Texas. Like we're like, opposite parts of the country, like different experiences.
Yeah.
I think his dad and his stepmom are more like spiritual and like more in like Buddhism and whatnot. Whereas like I grew up more in like Christianity and church. One thing that stayed the same though is we both still fucking love some anime, man.
Yeah.
So if you ever want like recommendations, like I have like a list of all the shit I've watched that I'll keep. And so like whenever anyone wants to like know what to watch, it's just a way like I can remember. So I'll like look and I can figure out like, okay, this show is about this or this is about that. So if you have like what you like narrowed down, you know what I mean? Like what kind of show? Because it's usually what kind of show you like. Like I like action and comedy, right? No matter
me
what.
too. Yeah.
No matter what. So if I'm watching anime, it's probably action and comedy.
Do you like Food Wars?
I've never seen it.
Oh my! I don't
typically watch like the super high school shit, like the stuff that's like I don't know if that. Well, I don't think that one's like high school, but like that one's more like that, and like there's like a couple basketball ones, like volleyball ones, or like
no. You gotta
that
watch
one.
Food Wars.
Maybe I'll check it out because it looks similar art style to like some other stuff.
When we get done, you'll have to watch. We'll watch one episode of Food Wars.
I'll definitely do that. I'm not.
We have to do that. Yeah. It's so funny because it's like kung fu meets cooking, like how they appreciate the art. And then when somebody eats, they take their first bite. They're like, "Oh my god, what is that? Italian seasoning? Is that saffron?" And then it shows them, how animes. I like animes because they always do like the very dramatic, different version of you.
Just anime.
What?
There's no S. I just figured before someone.
Oh, okay, thanks.
If more than 5 people watch this,
whatever.
If more than 5 people watch this and someone corrects you, and they're gonna be like, "Why did you correct them?" And I don't want to fucking get yelled at by the one person that might say some shit. It'll probably just be me on another account.
Probably.
So sorry, we're just going.
No, like their expression in anime.
Yeah.
When they're like whatever they're having in their feelings, it's always like some outlandish drawing,
Yeah.
But in their case, when they take a bite of food, they're like orgasming.
Okay.
And it shows like almost there's like a ribbon covering their genitals,
oh,
and their face is all
shit.
red, and they're like, "Oh
That's
my
hilarious.
god, this is so delicious!" And they're like, and then they also, if you watch the show, it'll show you how to make killer ass meals. It goes one through. When I first watched it, I was just like,
so like they're legit like cooking.
Yes, but it's
like
cartoon. It's all cartoon.
Yeah,
It's all big.
That's still cool though.
You know how there's like an art behind like kung fu or painting or something. They do that with like cooking, and it's like very intense. And there's like major respect and wars and stuff. Oh, I don't know. You gotta watch it.
That sounds dope,
dude. It's fucking entertaining. It is.
If there's like anime that someone that doesn't watch anime that they recommend, I'll usually watch it because I'm like, okay, if this person likes it, like it must be something that caught their. Because the only thing is like it's usually people it won't keep their attention. They just can't get over the fact that it's a cartoon.
Well,
like I've explained stories to people and they're like, that sounds interesting. I'm like, yeah, it's an anime. And they're like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna watch it.
So there's an anime on Netflix, and if you have kids, you should know about this.
Okay.
It's basically cartoon porn. It's literally it's called Something Bastard. We started watching it.
Something Bastard.
Yeah, I'll show you later. But like it's Ariella and I were watching it. I was like, I feel like I'm on Google right now. It was like it felt like, I mean, it was like softcore anime porn.
And it's supposed to be for kids?
I mean, it's on Netflix. It's just on the
okay, gotcha. You said if you got kids, you've seen it. So I was like, I thought you meant like it was like it was supposed to.
No, I'm just saying if you have kids, you need to look at this show because if they have a regular Netflix account.
Yeah, it's the
most. I was like, oh, is there a porno side of Netflix?
Right.
Because if there's not, this is the start.
And that's
of it,
typically the shit that people assume when they imagine like anime. They're usually thinking about like, I don't want to watch that. They're usually thinking of stuff like that, which there is some of that out there. But like most of it's not.
I mean, it was really fucking hot. Yeah. I was like,
most of it's not.
But it was like over the top. You know what I mean? Like it was fucking hot, and then it was like, it went from like. Because, you watch shows because, people are hot and it's like got a good story. I'm like, but this was like, it was like, so I have that same, I'm getting sweaty, like I'm watching porn on my computer, that's what, so it's called Something Bastard. And we were like, what the fuck it's fucking hilarious. Man. But I'm telling you, if you watch
heard of it, I just can't remember.
If you watch it, you're going to be like, yeah, so this is basically porn. I mean, like, it just is.
Yeah.
Oh,
shit.
But anyway, if you have some free time, you should watch it.
Yeah, I don't know if I got that much free time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just figuring shit out.
Yeah. Emojis.
Those damn emojis. That's how we're going to make them. Those damn emojis. Dude, everything was great before emojis. Remember that? Remember when cell phones were fucking simple? Before emoji, when you just typed your number 3 times, you didn't have to worry about sending someone an emoji. You're like, are they gonna know what I mean? Are they gonna think I'm saying something weird?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Now it's like the most effective way somehow to communicate your feelings.
Right. I love when old people say they're not gonna use emojis, and then like a few months later they'll be texting you and they'll be using emojis. You ever get like a grandpa or aunt or something?
They use them the most.
No, I know, but I had an uncle. He's like, I'm not texting. I don't need text. You can call me. I'm not using no emojis. He had a flip phone. And then randomly one day, out the blue, didn't know like, hey, change, just out the blue. It was like, happy Thanksgiving. Love you, nephew. And I was like, when the hell did he just text me out the blue? And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. Now that's what we go out to eat and he's fucking scanning shit, looking at stuff. Like,
dude, yeah.
What?
Dude, I started getting Facebook messages from somebody, and I didn't know who they were. And they tried calling me like 4 or 5 times, and their name was Rachel something. She goes, I saw this girl was trying to Facebook friend you, and I knew that you were married, and I didn't know if she knew that you had a wife or not. And I was gonna tell her. She was like,
what?
He's taken. And I was just like, oh. So randomly, I just had this, like, I talked to her for like 35 minutes. And it was so random. It was fucking hilarious.
And she's just like some old lady off in the distance looking out for you.
Yeah, she isn't any,
trying to keep the hose away.
Yeah.
Beating him away with her cane.
I go, well, I appreciate you having my back. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. She told me who it was. I was like, I don't think I'm even Facebook friends with this person. And I was like, also...
But how would she know if someone's trying to be friends with you? Like, what does that even mean? They just saw like you'd like something or comment? Like, that's what I want to know.
I remember when I used to Google.
Yeah, when you used to Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google is dangerous, man. You got to go back to Ask Jeeves.
Dude, you got to go to...
Remember that shit? Remember Ask Jeeves?
Yeah.
Before Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, before Chrome, like Internet Explorer, like 3, maybe.
That was like the first
4, Windows Vista.
Yeah, that was like next level if you knew how to do Ask Jeeves.
Dude,
wasn't that in the first?
Because you had to like ask the right questions to get what you wanted.
Wasn't that in the first National Treasure movie? They're like, let's go to Ask Jeeves and look this up.
Oh, it might have been. I wouldn't put it past them because that sounds about right.
I know what's been in the movie.
Ridiculous.
I know it's been in the movie. They're like, let me look. We just asked Jeeves.
Yeah, we just asked Jeeves.
Like, yeah.
You know what I hate? I get people that call the restaurant and they'll ask like questions like pricing. I can see like if you want to describe something, how something tastes, or like the sides, but like, I'm like how much is this item on your menu? Because Googling is too fucking hard. I don't know. Oh. But like the thing is like we talked about the old people a second ago. Like I know I have like my grandma's like in her 70s. My uncle's in his 70s. I think her younger brother. They know how to Google shit. They know how to find. My grandma drives around. My grandma takes care of people older than her.
Yeah.
Or younger than her. She's in her 70s. She takes care of people younger than her.
Yeah.
And she gets around. She can find some information. So I know it can be done. It's not that hard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when they call and they're like, how much is this? And what about that? I'm like, come on, seriously. I know you can do this. Just. I don't know, man. Look at you. You made it to the end of the video. Thanks so much. Whether or not you watched the whole thing or you just skipped forward, I appreciate it. Once again, shout out to Joe for coming through and hanging out with me, showing some love, answering some weird questions, talking about some weird shit. But since you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. And if you didn't like it, subscribe anyway, because can't get any worse, right? We're only going to get better from here. I hope it inspired you. I hope it made you laugh. I hope it made you think. And until next time, Party Wolf Podcast, keep fucking howling. Oh, I almost forgot. Since you stuck around, I got a bonus clip for you.
Make sure. Anyway, we were in line for chocolate chip cookies, and he wanted to punch the kid in front of me. And that kid literally ducked, like from a movie. Like, he just ducked down. And the kid popped me in the eye.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
These rough streets, man. Yeah.
Yeah, rough streets.
Kindergarten in line for a chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, man, look, dude, cookies ain't no joke.